Hi, my name's Alexis. I'm the founding owner and 3D animator and rigger for Astral Clocktower Studios.
Hi, I am Tiffany, one of the owners over at Astral Clocktower Studios, and I do level design.
Hey everybody, I am Sarah, and I am the third owner for Astral Clocktower Studios, and I am also our marketing director.
Oh,
Awesome.
We sound so formal now.
You do.
All right.
So in a nutshell, what kind of game are we talking about?
Kristala is a dark fantasy action RPG. It takes place in a world that's completely devoid of humanity, and instead, our main characters are feline and rodent beings that have been evolved by a magic crystal. And you'll go through the game. You have to prove yourself on a long journey as the chosen warrior from your chosen clan of Anagativan. They're the feline beings. And fight bosses, kill baddies, big mutants, things like that. Level up, cast lots of cool magic. I'd say that's a good nutshell.
That's a good nutshell, yeah.
Crushing combat. Gotta always include that.
Have fun.
Definitely a heavy emphasis on story too. That's probably one of my favorite things about our game.
Very deep lore. So.
Mm-hmm. Very cool world.
Yes.
What inspired you guys to become indie game developers?
I'll go first and you guys can go. For me, I was a software programmer for many years before I got into game development. And something was always missing for me from software. There wasn't enough of the creative aspect that I need to be happy. So what happened actually was I played Bloodborne. I got back into video games again as an adult after not playing for a long time. One of my first games I played was Bloodborne. And I fell in love with that game and everything about it. I just remember thinking, why am I making software? This is boring. I could be making this. So I went back to school, got a bachelor's degree in game programming, and started the studio with Tiffany and Sarah.
And for me, I've always had there's always been a special place in my heart for games. I've been playing since I was, 7, 6, something, whatever, a long time. But I always find a certain beauty to games, and I have always thought that it would be really cool to be a part of that, and be able to create something like from the ground up. Because literally, we put there's everything, every single little thing is well thought out, and there's a reason for everything in games usually, and particularly in ours. And so to be able to create something out of nothing is just awesome to me. So it's just that's a dream come true to be on a cool team like this and to have be able to do that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Tiffany. For me specifically, I'm huge into fantasy and these sagas that are created, like you said, Tiffany, from nothing, and so I think that's probably my main driving force from wanting to join up with both Alexis and Tiffany and to really get this started and make this happen. I felt very blessed to be asked to join them as doing the marketing, and I get to tell that story through the marketing. Obviously the game speaks for itself as well, but that's just been a really great passion project so far.
For how long have you been working on Kristala?
About 2 years now.
2 glorious years.
Yeah,
wow.
The first year was a bit.
Over.
Well, the first year was a bit slow. I like to call that a wash, really, because it was just like we were figuring out what we wanted Kristala to be, and we kept doing things and then doing them over, and then finally, about a year in, we knew what we wanted, and we just went full steam ahead. And so now we've got this killer demo coming up.
Yeah. Took a while for it to find its own identity, but it did, and it took off. We always say that Kristala has a mind of its own, and it decided what it wanted to be, and we're just along for the ride. So,
yep, pretty much.
I think it helped too. We went to our first convention at the end of last year. It was Play NYC, and it really helped to see the excitement of the people who were playing the game and were just as excited as we were about it, and I think that really kind of put the wind beneath our wings, if you will.
Yep.
Yeah, it really did.
Is it my turn?
Yeah.
Yes.
What makes this game different from others?
Yeah, what makes the game different from others?
Well, I was thinking about this year. I was thinking a lot of indie games that I've experienced, mostly because of the constraints you have when working with a small team, that you won't find that there's a ton of detailed history to the game, like background, historical lore, like detailed storytelling and interactions, and we will have a lot of that in Kristala. Another thing is their anthropomorphic characters. Just the fact that they're cats. I mean, I've never seen a game with anthropomorphic cat characters. There are cat games, plenty of them, but none like this. None where it's like a melee adventure fantasy game where everything is, I don't know. I just haven't seen cats represented in this way. And also, same with rats. The rat enemies in our game, they're not all bad. I mean, they're like, you know, it's like kind of you find yourself torn between how you feel about them because they're not necessarily wrong. And I like that conflict that we've created between them. And then I'd also like to mention that our game was, in the past 2 years, has been made by a team purely inspired by passion for game dev. So, and you can see it in our work. We love what we do, and we've done it because we love it, and not for really any other reason than that. So.
And I think too, like, because of that passion and that drive that our team has, there's a little bit like bits and pieces of every single person on our team in the game. You know, so I think that makes it special. I know to us, but you know, I think our team really values that too. So, because they're like, yeah, I'm a piece of this. I'm a piece of this game. So
yes, definitely, and everyone's input matters.
Yes.
What engine are you using, and why did you decide to use that engine?
We're using Unreal Engine 4, and we chose Unreal for a couple of reasons. One is that it's what Tiffany and I learned in school. We met in school, and we were learning Unreal together. And so it's the engine we're most familiar with, but also because of the graphical capabilities of Unreal. We wanted to make a really beautiful game, and I don't know that we could have made it in any other engine as small devs. Unreal really has done a nice job. Like, it's amazing the world we've been able to put together in there and how beautiful and realistic it seems. I have nothing against Unity. I just really love Unreal.
I think it just spoke to us more so than Unity too. So.
Well, there isn't that much difference between Unity and Unreal. I guess people just go with what's most familiar to them.
Yeah, there's that too. Familiarity was a really big part of it. We would have wasted time having to learn Unity when we already knew Unreal, like, really well.
Yeah, then you're better off just using Unreal, because in Result you can basically create the same games with them.
Yeah.
For the most part, I can see, that's why I mentioned the graphical difference. I can always tell when a game's been made in Unity instead of Unreal.
Mm-hmm. And then with that Unreal 5.
You just can't get the same... From my experience, you can't get the same visual quality. You can still get really good visual quality, just not quite as good as Unreal.
Mm-hmm. And for me, like, personally, like, that's something that's huge, because I'm always looking for that.
Me too.
So.
I want my games to be beautiful and clear and crisp on my sweet gaming PC.
Exactly.
Unreal games indeed most of the time look better, but if the developer wasn't that great, and I hope that you are taking that bug out. But a lot of times when you have an Unreal game and you have a 3-monitor setup, it's really hard to start a game.
Well, that's actually the first I've heard.
Yeah, I haven't heard of that.
But thank you for telling us.
Noted.
Now we'll make
Good
sure
developers take it out. It's only in like the lower Unreal games, but it's something. If you don't know it, just make sure that you try it on the 3-monitor setups before you ship it.
That's good to know. Actually, since you have a 3-monitor setup, do you want to try testing Kristala in a couple weeks to tell us if it works?
Sure.
All right. Cool. I'll get you an NDA later.
Well, I've signed NDAs before, so I can handle that.
All right, cool.
If you can advise a new indie game developer, what will you tell him?
Ooh. One of the big things I've noticed when I've interact in indie developer communities online is that on the surface, indie gamers do definitely seem like they want to be really supportive to each other, but there's still a lot of competitive competition there. Like I've noticed that sometimes people who are thinking about being developers will come into these groups and say, "This is what I want to do, and I'm thinking about it," and people will outright discourage them. And I just want to say, you don't have to listen to what everybody tells you. If you want to do something, anything, and not just game dev, but anything, if you really want it and you're willing to work for it, you can do it. Anybody can. You just have to be willing to take it for yourself. So, if you go into a game dev group for looking for support and you tell people the kind of game you want to make and they make you feel bad about it, that you should aim smaller or whatever, you should do what's in your heart. Follow your heart and work your butt off and do it. Get what you want, do what you want, and you'll get what you want to get.
Yeah, I think people are always going to be there to discourage you and say your dreams are too big, but I mean, if you're not dreaming big, then you're limiting yourself. So we're always like, you know what, this is going to be tough, this is going to be challenging, but we're going to dive in and do it. So, and we're doing it. So, you know what I mean? Like, if nothing else, like, be like us and just do it. Like,
just go
do
for
it,
man.
Don't let people tell you that it's like, oh, well, maybe you should start with something smaller. It's like, you know what, I don't want to, so I'm not going to. You know what, I dream big, and that's how I do it. So like, whatever.
Yeah, I'm 100% on board with what you said there, Tiffany.
On the other hand of that too, though, I think like when you do find the people that are supportive, I think that makes all of the difference. Like I know specifically for me, like making friends in this industry and the indie gaming community and asking questions and asking things about other people's projects and starting that conversation and really having that back and forth. I think that's really how you build those valuable relationships that help you fall even more in love with that dream.
True. I do realize that what I said made it sound like game devs suck, and they don't.
No, they don't.
No, not at all. Not at all.
No. I've met quite a few amazing game devs, and we've made some really good connections, and that's another thing I would advise game devs of. Meet other game devs, make friends with them, learn from them. You know how great it is to have a fresh pair of eyes when you can't figure out a bug?
Exactly.
So,
yeah.
Learn,
what am I missing? Oh, it's right there. Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
What do you think about the current marketing strategies in the indie game industry?
Go, Sarah.
Yeah, well, for me, I mean, as is the case with all industries, I think there's been like a really interesting shift from traditional marketing where you're doing the outreach and you're trying to find the people that you want to be looking at your product. We're shifting from that to this, what I call the inbound marketing approach, where people want to find their own information out. They don't really want to be told what to do or bothered. So that begs the question, you need to be at the right place at the right time to meet that right person, whoever that person is, and make sure also, I think it's important to think about all of your audience members when you're creating any kind of messaging, right? Like, don't just talk to video gamers, talk to the indie gamers. For us, talk to the RPG enthusiasts, talk to the animal lovers, you know what I mean? And I think that it's just a really open, communicative, back and forth marketing strategy that you need to initiate now. You can't just be putting out like, hey, buy this game. You have to be, like we were talking about, engaging with the audience. What do they want? You might think you know what they want, but really talk to them and find out what they want,
Yeah, that's true. It's definitely like different than any other marketing strategies, or like it's different in that way from other industries. I think like you really have to put yourself out there. Like if you don't start doing it from the get-go and getting people interested in what you're doing, you're going to have a harder time later on down the road. Plus, it helps. One thing we've started in particular to help with what Sarah's been talking about is doing streams to basically give our studio a face other than our kitty's face, of course. But my only complaint about the strategies, or the seems to be the widely accepted marketing strategy, especially for indie dev, is that you feel like you have to reveal so much information about your game that you can't really keep anything secret.
Super secret.
Yeah, it's so hard to balance that, and I would say one thing I'd recommend to people is make sure you have detailed history, because then history isn't giving away the actual game, and you can say all sorts of stuff.
Also, be everywhere. Like, I know that sounds kind of crazy, and you certainly need the team to be able to manage it, but like, we do newsletters. It's called the Sagas of Kristala. It puts out different bits of lore in these little short story formats. We have our dev blog. We have the streaming, like Ali mentioned. Of course, on our traditional social media, YouTube, just really try and, again, meet that viewer, that gamer, wherever he or she may be on the internet, right? The internet's a beautiful tool for marketing in general, and I think, just being there when that person happens to be looking, it's sort of a luck thing, but also you can take steps to make, to give yourself a better chance.
Yeah, definitely.
Where do you see the indie game market going in a few years?
I personally think there's going to continue to be like this heavy emphasis on like influencer based marketing, which obviously like streamers or folks with YouTube channels for the gaming industry in particular. I think we're going to continue to head that direction, and that brands can totally utilize, again, making those friends and making those connections, kind of like I scratch your back, you scratch mine kind of a thing. Personally, for me, I think that's a important tool.
I mean, I feel like indies are stepping up. These AAA companies have had some setbacks, and indie companies are here to fill the void, I would say. So I feel like the indie market is on the rise. I think that a lot more people are starting to support it, and at least I hope so, and appreciate indie developers, and really seeing like what they're capable of doing. So
yeah,
everyone wants to see the underdog win, like,
exactly.
That's what I like about it. Yeah.
Yes, me too. I like that too.
It is true. Like, if an indie goes big at this moment, it's like everyone is focused on that one indie, and all AAA games that release around it aren't important anymore. Because everyone indeed wants to see the loser win.
Yeah, they want to see the little guy step up and be like, "Ta-da! I'm here and I'm taking over."
And because it reminds you that if they can do it, and they're just normal people who worked hard, so could you.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's like an approachability to it, It's not just like a
that
far
AAA
off.
just doesn't have. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
It's like we're people friendly, Like
you can write to us and we'll talk to you.
Yeah, we'll talk to you and be like, "Oh, hey, we'll give you advice. We'll answer your questions." Like do that to a AAA company and you won't hear back from them for weeks, if at all.
Yeah, I've tried. They don't write back.
Yeah, they don't write back. But we're real people. We're here. So.
I tried once. I contacted a game developer that is in the Netherlands, and at that time I was still in school. So I emailed them that I wanted to come there to interview them for a school assignment, and they said yes. But when I asked when they had time, and said when I had time, I never got an email back about the time.
Wow. Yeah.
So it never happened because they never emailed me back on the second email.
Yeah, honestly, I've had a couple of interactions now with people who reached out to us, and when I wrote back to them, they were like, "Whoa, oh my god,
what?
You know how many devs I've written to that didn't talk to me, like just ignored me? I can't believe you're talking to me. Thank you."
You're like, "You're welcome." I mean, that's rude to not write back. Like,
I know. Like,
that blows my mind. That blows my mind.
Devs.
Yeah.
Yeah, it blows my mind too.
Which game?
I mean, why would you not want to like talk? Sorry. But yeah, why would you not want to talk directly to the folks that are supporting you?
Yeah, it's mind blowing.
I don't know. Some people just aren't very good with the social aspect, I think.
Yes.
Well, a lot of game developers are introverts. They don't know how to talk to people.
That's true.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's true. You just got to get someone on your team that can do that then.
You need to find someone that is really social, and that
Yes.
social person
Actually,
can
that
do
goes back
that
to
for you.
the advice thing. Get a community manager as soon as possible.
Yeah, so helpful.
Yeah.
So, which game, either the indie or AAA, would you wish you had worked on?
Everyone knows what my answer is going to be.
I knew it when I read it.
It has to be My Little Pony.
Nailed it.
Bloodborne. I'm such a Bloodborne fangirl. It's ridiculous, but it would definitely be Bloodborne.
Mine would probably be like one of the Elder Scrolls. Skyrim is like my all-time favorite game, glitches and all. So I think I would love to be a part of that. Either that or The Witcher.
Level design too. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, that's
Stupid.
okay. No, you're fine.
You know that it's not the question about what's your favorite game, right? It's
I
a
know,
question
but
about
it
what
is-
game you would have wanted to work
It's
on.
both in one. For me, that's like 2 in 1.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I would say, probably Skyrim specifically. That's what I would like to be a piece of that. That would be awesome.
I'm super drawn aesthetically just by the artwork in it. The Ori games, the Ori and the Blind Forest and Ori and the Will of the Wisps, I think it is. It would just be cool to create all those little like fantasy creatures. Like I said, a huge fantasy nerd.
That game is really those games are gorgeous.
Yeah, they are.
Pretty.
I started in on my Xbox, and usually I don't expect much when I start my Xbox for gaming. And I was like, whoa, isn't this on my PC? Because the graphics look so much better than other Xbox games.
Oh, that's crazy.
On
Well,
PC,
yeah,
other
they're
games
hardcore.
look better, obviously, but yeah, that's just having a high-end PC, then everything looks great. But on
Yeah, true.
Xbox, Ori,
Consoles suck after
the
that.
Ori games look awesome.
Yeah, they are. They're really good. Good
What?
choice, Sarah.
Thanks. Yeah. Well, I do a bunch of like drawing and painting, and so like
Oh,
visually,
that makes
visually,
sense.
if something
Yeah, that
can
totally
like
makes sense.
draw me in, that'll do it for me. Like I know
I love it.
yeah. Well, they say you shouldn't judge the book by its cover, right? But that is kind of what acts, right? Like initially. sometimes, too.
Yeah,
Yeah. Sometimes you have to.
Exactly.
What are you doing?
Oh, me? I'm sorry. I wasn't trying to be noisy. I just had a bunch of papers fall, and I was trying to pick them up, and then I was
You're
like,
like,
"What
I'm
is this?"
trying to pick these up. Hang on.
Yeah. Sorry.
We hear you. Oh.
Okay, now comes the question that you probably
You
have
already
already answered. What is your favorite video game of all time?
I think Sarah's answer will change. For
Yeah.
me, it's Bloodborne, obviously.
Yeah, mine's definitely Skyrim, followed closely by The Witcher 3 and then Dragon Age Inquisition. Those are like my top 3 though.
You
I
must
like them.
really like RPGs.
I do. like
Yeah,
like
we make a
open
good
world
team for
RPGs.
making an RPG together.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I know this is like super old game, N64, but I really love Yoshi's Story. It's probably my favorite game. Not a modern game, I know, but
That's
man, I
Does it
love
have to
it.
be modern?
I love that
No,
game.
doesn't have to be modern.
No, I still I love it. I had my Super Nintendo from my childhood until I was an adult, and I lost it when we moved. But
Oh.
I used to whip it out at least once a year to play some Mario.
Mm-hmm. Old school
It
games
is.
are the
I
best,
the nostalgia of it too for me, right? Like,
right?
I don't know. It's just that feeling. My sister
Yeah.
and I always used to play, and she was always better than me. Jerk.
Sega Genesis games, like in general, do that for me. Bring back that nostalgia. My brother and I play it,
Sega.
right?
All right.
What is your favorite video game of this year and why?
For me, it took me a bit to think about this because I haven't been able to game much this year because of how much we've been doing with a Kristala. And by the time I'm done working for the day, I just don't. I'm like video gamed out, you know. So, but I would say the best game I've played this year that I enjoyed the most was Neo 2. It's all the Neo games are amazing in general, but Neo 2 is pretty awesome. I mean, I just like any hack and slash game where I get to kill monsters and build my stats and find cool armor. I mean, that's my thing.
As long as things die.
I haven't really played anything new. I mean, I've watched stuff though. I think that Final Fantasy, the remake,
Yeah, it looks pretty good.
pretty sweet. Andrew played that at PAX, and I was like, I gotta play this game, and I haven't. I think I'm most excited. I know, right? I'm most excited for the Cyberpunk, though. Like, I really, really want to play that game. So, but yeah.
And I really admire CD Projekt Red. They're one of the bigger studios that I really look up to.
They are like my From.
Yeah,
like,
there you go.
I love them. Yeah,
I'm the FromSoft fangirl, and you can be the Project Red fangirl.
I definitely am. They can do no wrong.
That was the final question. Is there other stuff you want to say?
Well, we could mention that Kristala is releasing a playable demo to the public in a few weeks. We'll have exact dates soon when we release our gameplay trailer within the next few weeks as well. We're in our final stages, though. And it'll be on PC only for now, on itch.io, GameJolt, and Steam.
Woohoo!
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'm so excited, you guys.
Yeah. I'm super
It's
excited.
been a long time.
2 years of working on this thing. I hope it impresses people because we've been working our butts off.
I know. I hope people are like, that was fun. Like,
Yeah.
that was
Or they're
fun.
touched by it. And the story sticks with them because the story is important.
Yes, it is. It's very important.
And I think it will.
Because it's awesome.
And thank you for interviewing us, Eddie. This was fun. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
No problem. I do it all the time.
Like, it's my job.
Almost.
I know, I actually am a huge introvert, so bless you for doing this for a living.
Yeah.
You know, right?
It's amazing.
Like, I don't want to talk to people, really. But
I can
All
do
the
it,
time.
but
I will do it.
I'm so
Sit
glad
down
we
up.
have community managers now because now I'm like, oh, good. I don't have to say things that much.
And then other community managers just come to you like, hey, do you want to talk to me?
Of course. We love community managers.
well, and it's at least easy to talk about Kristala just because there is so much passion and work put into it. Like, yeah.
This is like our lives, so it's
I
like
could talk about Kristala nonstop all day. I drive my family crazy. Like they call me to say, like they call like, "How have you been?" And I'm like, "Well, let me tell you about everything I just did. I just fixed the shoulders on 12 animations,
How much time you got?
and let me tell you all about the marketing."
Did you see this? Did you see this? Oh.
And they're like, "No, should I have?" Yes, yes, you should have.
and you should have shared it. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Oh yeah, and 2 words: glowing mushrooms.
Yeah, yeah.
Giant, glowing mushroom.
Glowy and lighty shrooms as well.
Lady
Yes.
Lady shrimp.
We made
Oh,
some
goodness.
creative uses of mushrooms in this game. We love mushrooms.
Love mushrooms. We love mushrooms, and it's evident.
Yeah.
We're all hippies at heart.
Yeah.
We're all
Oh, also check out our socials and join our Discord.